Every villain in this series copied one man: Bernie's shoebox, Dew's magic dollar, the 20% jar in Anchor. All of them are the same trick, and the trick has a name because one man ran it so spectacularly a century ago that the courts and the newspapers simply named the crime after him. His name was Charles Ponzi. He stood 5'2". He arrived in America with $2.50 in his pocket, and within 8 months of starting his scheme, he was collecting $1 million a week from the working people of Boston in 1920, when $1 million a week was beyond imagination. This is the original, explained one last time this season so simply a 5-year-old could follow along. Carlo Ponzi stepped off a boat from Italy in 1903, 21 years old. He later claimed he'd gambled away his savings on the voyage over. He had charm instead, a dazzling smile, perfect suits he couldn't afford, and absolute confidence that he was destined to be rich. The next 15 years went badly. He washed dishes, he slept on floors. In Montreal, he worked at a bank that paid depositors double the normal interest rate. And pay attention here, because young Ponzi was taking notes. That bank wasn't earning double interest. It was paying old depositors with new depositors' money. It collapsed. Its founder fled. Ponzi broke again, forged a check, and spent 3 years in a Canadian prison. He wrote home to his mother that he'd found a wonderful job as a prison warden's assistant. He was the prisoner. Remember that letter because it's the whole man in one sentence. He could not stop decorating failure until it looked like success. By 1919, he was in Boston, 37 years old, married to a woman who believed in him, running a failing office. And then one day, an envelope from Spain landed on his desk, and inside it was the little piece of paper that would break the world. It was called an international reply coupon. Here's the kid version. Countries had agreed on a little stamp voucher you could buy in one country and swap for postage stamps in another. Because currencies had gone haywire after the First World War, the voucher cost less in Italy than the stamps it bought in America. Buy the voucher cheap over there, swap it here, and the difference was profit. Real, legal, tiny profit. Buy a candy bar coupon for 1 cent in Rome, redeem it for a 5-cent candy bar in Boston. Sound familiar? It's the exact trade Sam ran with Bitcoin in Japan 100 years early. Ponzi did the math and declared the profit could exceed 400%. And on paper, for one coupon, that was almost true. So he founded a company with a magnificent name, the Securities Exchange Company, and made Boston an offer. Give me your money, and I'll give you 50% profit in 45 days. Double your money in 90. You've watched 8 episodes. You already know the question to ask. Could the machine actually do that at scale? Let's do what nobody in Boston did and check. To pay real returns on the millions he collected, Ponzi would have needed to buy and redeem roughly 160 million postal coupons. The total number in circulation on Earth was about 27,000, and redeeming them meant physically shipping mountains of paper across the Atlantic and swapping them, coupon by coupon, at post office counters for stamps. Not cash. Stamps. The trade was real the way a raindrop is real. He was selling it as an ocean. So what actually happened inside the Securities Exchange Company? Nothing. That's the secret. There was no trading operation at all. Money came in the front door and sat there. When an early investor came back after 45 days, Ponzi paid their 50% using the money of the people lined up behind them. The shoebox, episode 2, the seesaw, episode 3, the exact machine. This is the moment in history where it got its name. And Boston went insane. The first investors got paid spectacularly on time, in cash. They told everyone. Police officers invested, priests invested, widows mortgaged houses. 3/4 of Boston's police force, by some accounts, had money with Ponzi. Lines wrapped around the block on School Street. At the peak, in July of 1920, he was taking in roughly $1 million a week from about 40,000 people. Ponzi bought a mansion, a limousine, and a bank, the Hanover Trust, partly so his own scheme would have somewhere respectable to keep its cash. He'd been broke 8 months earlier. Now the collapse, and notice that it needs the same 2 characters every collapse in this series has needed: a journalist doing math and a run. The Boston Post started asking the coupon question, are there even enough coupons on Earth? A famous financial analyst named Clarence Barron, whose name is still on a financial magazine today, pointed out the 160 million problem publicly. Ponzi sued for libel and won, briefly, because juries loved him. But the Post kept digging and found the Montreal prison record and printed the mugshot of the smiling young forger. The man promising to double Boston's money had a conviction for exactly this. The run began. Crowds that had lined up to give Ponzi money now lined up to take it back. And here Ponzi did something that separates him from almost everyone else in this series, something stranger than fleeing. He served coffee and donuts to the line, smiled and paid. Every person who asked, he paid, with a showman's calm, right up until the vault was empty. The confidence was the con, down to the last dollar. In August of 1920, the auditors reached the bottom of the box. He was millions short. The Hanover Trust failed. 5 other banks failed with it. Investors got back roughly 30 cents on the dollar, and $20 million, a fortune in 1920, had evaporated into paid-out profits, mansions, and thin air. Ponzi pleaded guilty to mail fraud because the checks went out by post. He served 3.5 years in federal prison, came out, and, I want you to sit with this, immediately started a new scam, selling underwater Florida real estate. Literal swampland. More prison. In 1934, America deported him to Italy. He drifted, failed at everything again, and died in 1949 in a charity hospital in Rio de Janeiro, nearly blind, half paralyzed, with $75 to his name, enough to pay for his own burial. He left one perfect quote behind. Near the end, he told a reporter, "Even if they never got anything for it, it was cheap at that price. Without malice aforethought, I had given them the best show that was ever staged in their territory since the landing of the Pilgrims." Read that twice. No apology, no shame. He billed the victims for the entertainment. So, the last lessons of the season from the man who started it all. First, the yield is the scam. 50% in 45 days, 1% a month forever, 20% a year on a stablecoin. The number that makes you lean in is the number doing the crime. A century of evidence, one rule. Returns that ignore reality are paid by the next victim or by no one. Second, a small truth scales into a big lie. The postal coupon profit was real for one coupon. Mark-to-market was legal for one contract. Every great fraud is a genuine seed grown in a greenhouse of lies. When someone shows you the seed, ask to see the farm. And third, the con man's last victim is always himself. Ponzi died believing he was a great man, wrong by timing. Bernie kept his scheme running past his own family. Dew tweeted through the collapse. The costume grows into the skin. That's what greed actually does, and it's why this channel has a name. 9 stories, 1 trick, 100 years. The scam never changes. It just changes clothes, and now you can recognize it naked. If you want more true stories like this, drawn badly on purpose and explained simply on purpose, subscribe. Next time, Season 2 opens with Paradise, a luxury music festival on a private island, promoted by supermodels that turned out to be disaster tents and cheese sandwiches.